Okay, call the meeting order at 2:06. Can we get a roll call, please?
Okay, Will Microsoft is excused. George Schilling,
Here.
Jason Polo. Jeff Bird. Randy Plummer.
Here.
Pettis is excused. Maggie Lee.
Present.
Steve is excused. Ari.
Who? Yeah. Is she on the email list? Okay.
Steve Webb. And Passner. Heather Grove.
What's that?
Heather Grove.
Oh.
There you go.
I see that. Tim has not been to a meeting since the inception of this place. I'm pretty sure the bylaws or the state that you have to meet the zoning, so we need to bring that up later, but discussing his position on there. Jessica is new and she would have been here. I think we need to check and see if she's getting those links if she, otherwise she should have been here. So I can't really motion for entertain a motion to accept the agenda as correct, because I'm gonna make an addition to the agenda, so, okay, well then, we'll do some discussion and not really make any decisions. How's that?
So
What's that?
burn is BHRN.
BHRN?
Oh, okay.
That's right,
The gentleman's last name.
okay.
No, it stands for something.
Yeah, it does stand for something.
It's an
like-
acronym.
Hi,
Hi, we've met, but it's been quite some time. I'm Sarah Worthington. I'm the Regional Climate and Health Coordinator. So I'm also with Public Health.
oh,
I'm not
okay,
here all the time. So
okay,
I was able to join today.
well, welcome.
Thank you.
Okay, then I want to add on here somewhere, I'll just throw it on there, the update from the shelter, we'll go from there. Anybody here from the public that want to make a comment? Say again? Nobody on Zoom, okay. Let's go on to the update from the shelter. Go ahead and give your spiel and then I'll throw in some stuff.
I'm gonna hand over to Jane. She knows the numbers really well.
So our number of guests per night, the average is 18. A lot of it has to do with the weather. And the first month they get their stipend and a lot of them go get hotels beginning of the month. Although we have had nights where we have been on overflow, using up the flex room or the cots in the living room. So it just varies widely. Our women numbers are way down right now for whatever reason. On the number of repeat nights for guests, we have some that we've had one gentleman who's been with us for 3 years. We have some people that stay every single night and then when the others bounce in and out, depending on, like, again, for those very same reasons. We did see in March a very slight dip in numbers, but mostly that's because the weather's getting better. Because correspondingly, we saw an increase in dinner onlys. Where they're coming in for their meal, but not staying because they're going out camping somewhere or something. So I would say we're serving about the same number of people, just in different ways.
When you have meals, is that
Dinner.
or when you have dinner, is that a good time to get, like, you get able to get a lot of information from people?
That is when I do a lot of intakes with the staff. If I'm not there, they do the intake forms that we need to do.
Okay.
Looking for our statewide database called HMIS.
Okay,
So I would expect that we will, again, when it gets really hot outside, we'll see it flip again.
okay.
This is kind of the nice sleeping outside weather right now.
Camper weather.
Yeah, it can be weather, yeah,
Okay.
exactly. So, I would say we've seen another little thing, we've seen an increase in the number of EMS calls.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's kind of where I wanted to jump in, Jake.
Sorry, before you go there, when was the last time you did your overflow sleeping, would you say?
I would say last week
Not
sometime.
very recently, yeah.
Yeah, it is last week maybe, for like 2 nights we had overflow where we
Okay.
had guys.
Had a
on cots.
cold and windy night. I
Yeah,
think you guys remember that night. It was
Okay.
windy.
Jane,
yeah.
did I understand you right? You said that the longest residence there has been sleeping over for 3 years?
Yeah, well, because it used to be warming in the winter, with Pat and Tony, and so they had warming, so in that, by saying 3 years, during those warming sheltered nights, he slept there. So
At the
he,
church, when the church.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay, I
that's
was gonna
a
say,
church.
And that
okay.
work with your-
yeah, so it's been a
That doesn't mean that
consistent,
shelter,
Right.
that means, oh,
Right.
okay.
yeah, so
There's
he's
the
been
faith-based
consistently
network.
with us for, that time frame. But luckily, he's like one of our favorite guys.
Yeah, he's awesome.
We want all beds filled with nice guys like him. So, but it has been interesting that the dinner onlys has increased a lot. And so I'm sure that that's, like I said, flips, and then it's gonna flip again when it gets too hot to sleep outside.
Okay. So the
January was our highest number.
January was? Expected. Catch everybody up, what we were talking about before then, we've seen an increase of, there's been some EMS calls and medical situations going on at the shelter where, it's almost like the shelter's becoming assisted living. And it's unfortunate because the shelter is neither staffed or equipped for those kind of things. You have people that are in wheelchairs, people that are. One person, for example, we got a call there to do wound care. Our people aren't trained to do wound care. Goes to the hospital, get discharged, comes out here with given supplies, instructions, not to take care of himself. I don't want to take care of it because he's busy doing other social activities. You know, the person that, same thing, there's just a certain amount of people there who have medical problems that aren't being taken care of well by themselves. And so it creates kind of a strain or a problem for Truett and his staff there who, you know, this is a facility that isn't set up for that. We were talking about other shelters in the state, if they have anything similar. It's really not, because their demographics really aren't the same as ours here. And because of that, I was kind of hoping Nick would be here that can help us. This is a lot of this is, the shelter was built on a grant, all the service that we have there from this. I'm wondering if there's perhaps some other state resources or some other help outside of what we have that can help maybe come up with some solutions.
Are you guys attending the high risk? Those high risk?
One of them actually was brought up, Gina and I were
Yeah.
talking about, we brought up one individual at the high risk team meeting
Okay.
and someone from AP.
It was, yeah, the APD brought it.
APD, it was been trying, and the problem there was, sounded like when she talked to him, he was receptive, and then all of a sudden he wasn't receptive, and then he was receptive again. It depends on if he's intoxicated or not, or if he's with friends or not. So, I mean, it sounds kind of odd, but this is real life.
And they do try to serve them, you know, in their defense, APD. The problem is they work Monday through Friday, 8 to 5. And if they're not there by 6 in the morning, it's too late. They're already out drinking their beer, and then we don't open up again till 6 at night.
Yeah, they also have just different timelines, so they're not big emergency housing either. So, you know, I know, like, I think once they get a referral, they have something like a month to contact someone where,
That's right.
you know, we need them today.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And we're not open 24/7
Right.
either. And to
Right.
your point, we're not assisted living.
right.
We are not skilled nursing staff.
Right.
So it really puts the burden upon them when they, you know, when they're not set up that way or trained that way. It's gotta be really kind of, yeah, I mean, it's gotta be difficult.
And if we went to 24/7, we'd see an increase of all those sort of situations. Because they would say, oh, I have some place to, and that's why we have folks that are barely making it. They're not independent, but they can roll in on a wheelchair. And that's what scares me about, you know, not having to figuring this out, like you're saying,
Right.
with another agency.
This is something that clearly we didn't think about when we were creating this shelter and going forward, all this. I remember we were very careful about our planning and, you know, 2 to 3 weeks before we made the big push, we were, you know, we had all these things and Steve, you know, Sergeant Webb and all this, pulled this task force together and we were preparing for all these kind of things. And this is one thing we didn't think about.
And it is different here than it is certainly than in Deschutes County.
Yeah. Yeah, everyone has, you know, they have paperwork and, you know, they've got more connections to be able to be plugged into the things that they need, other than our folks that don't really have anywhere to go. You know, don't have any connections.
So what's your case management capacity or strategy?
For, what specifically?
I mean, just as people are coming in, you do intakes, like what do you do with that information besides HMIS? Is there other things that,
We partner
being
with,
offered?
we partner with BestCare for the things like finding housing or job, searches and things like that. And they've been a really great
And
partner.
we've had success,
Yeah,
in placing people, transitioning people out of shelter. So
Yeah.
BestCare's been a resource and we've used it. Really, Katie, we put as many people in the loop as we can. When we have a
Oh, I
situation
know.
like this, we put, chief plumbers in on the loop on a lot of the people that we put everybody in the loop as much as we can because we want to use any resource available to address that need. And,
and we've been successful. with a couple.
yeah, I've been successful with a couple, and then a couple of us sitting here know some situations that have been successful, but APD has been great. They've been super, like you said.
Right,
Every time-
they have their own timeline.
Yeah, anytime we need it, it's like one of those things. Well, when did you need it? Yesterday? It's like
Yeah.
one of those things,
Last night when they came in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we're not gonna turn people away either, right? People are gonna have shelter when they come to shelter.
So I have a clarifying question, maybe, so are the folks coming in who need maybe that more high support needs kind of care? Are those needs from developmental or presumed developmental issues or presumed substance use? I'm just trying to figure out like where some of the
Yeah.
strategy could,
Yes.
I
okay,
think you hit all of them on the head there.
so both,
We get a lot of mental health and a lot of substance use, mostly alcohol.
mm,
There's code disorders, those
Yeah,
walk hand
yeah,
in hand all the time.
dual diagnosis. Yeah,
mm.
So
And that's what
treat
makes it-
one, you gotta treat them both, there's not treating them separately, they gotta be addressed at the same time.
that's why we're very grateful for BestCare.
And I know it's a low barrier, so people can't use substances while on campus, but there's no barrier to being intoxicated coming in and there being a very low, control of some bladder, let's say. So is that kind of where some of the
They can't use the
situations?
substances on the campus,
Yeah, no.
but they can come in under the,
Mhm. And they're,
but some of the problems they're having, as said, is like, even during dinner, they like lose their bowels right there at the dinner. There's one person I know that can't change their, I mean, they regularly, routinely soil their sheets.
Mhm.
Several.
Yeah.
I mean, from a public health standpoint, that's concerning.
Yes.
Yes, that's why we're bringing this up.
Yeah.
This is a health issue.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then, and that's happening and the beds are, they're not like we have spacious dorms. So this is happening, nightly. It wasn't a nightly thing until probably the last 3 months. It's probably been the last. It's slow, yeah, one certain resident.
And we're seeing, like, we have a gentleman right now that has dementia, extreme memory loss, and is elderly. And APD is doing what they can for
In his 80s.
him. Yeah, and, but they're just trying to get his sister to come down from Warm Springs to get him because they have a place from Warm Springs. But she has to come down and get him. And so that's kind of, one of the struggles as well, but. And some of the people, especially the bowel issue we're talking about, that's more recent, which tells me he's progressing rapidly worse.
What would it take to get someone to transport him up there? I mean, it's inhumane to just say, we can't come get him. How about we can find a way to take him?
She won't answer Kristen at all anymore, the daughter.
So she really doesn't have a place then.
No, Kristen has a place to put him, but this gal has his medical POA,
Oh,
and so
okay.
she has to be the one to admit him.
When can the state take over responsibility for him?
That would be great.
I mean, that's what I'm asking is at what point does the state?
I don't have
Yeah,
the
we
answer
take
to
over.
that. That would be.
This might be a high risk team,
Yeah, it might be. You're right.
because you have other resources there that might be able to help making those decisions.
And we had another client today that got offered, someone did from Warm Springs come down and
Yeah.
offer to give her a ride.
Before we came, yeah.
And she refused. She didn't want to go. And she has medical issues to where Kirsten called EMS for her. She's down at the fire hydrant. Called EMS for her and she refuses to go.
Do they feel like that? That's where they want to be, and so long as they're all there, then they don't have to go anywhere else?
Right off the property, where everyone congregates. You know, it's kind
Cause I
of,
wonder if they were told, hey, we don't have the facilities to take care of your issue here, you can't stay here.
At Warm Springs?
No, I'm the people at your shelter, are they, the one who didn't wanna go or refuse to go is because they're happier, that they feel like
Right.
they can
Yeah.
have their needs met there?
and there is, I think,
I'm
correct me if
not
I'm
sure
wrong.
I'm not sure it's a matter of needs. I think it's a matter of the resources they want. There's more,
You mean the
Yeah,
resources outside your building, but across the street are?
yeah.
Okay,
Is
Exactly,
got it.
exactly.
that what you were gonna say too?
Well, I think, I'm pretty sure there's some other shelters that people come in that they aren't able to handle,
Oh,
Uh,
they can keep them,
medically and not able to handle there, and they are turned away.
yeah.
Um,
that'd be good.
if a police officer drops off someone or it's a dire situation, we do take them in. You know, I told you before, we're gonna give them shelter, that's what the shelter's for.
Right.
But maybe it's not the best place for them to
Yeah.
stay continuously. And now I'm kind of maybe there's something else in there that we need to figure out, right?
There needs to be an alternative place if they need some kind of medical need, you're not set up to handle their medical need.
No, we're not.
There needs to be another answer for that.
We can give out a.
The problem
Band-Aid.
is you can stick them in the place that needs that medical need and they're gonna leave because what's across the street?
There's more restrictions.
Unless they know they can't come to that place.
Right.
But you know, it's hard to, when you have somebody that you don't wanna like tell them they can't stay there, where are they gonna go, you know?
Right, and that's my point. Okay, you can't come here, you can go there.
Yeah, we need the other place.
We need the other answer. This is why I know this came up at high risk team before where if a person got kicked out of the 2 nursing homes they're in because they don't want to follow the rules there.
Mhm.
I remember that.
Me too.
How were you guys on like PPE gloves and
You know, we use that.
you could use some or you?
No,
have
we
some?
do use them. I
Okay.
just ordered more boxes today.
Yeah,
Okay.
And we even have some of the paper hazmat
Yeah,
type suits if need be too.
Okay, so we have some like, we probably have some resources for
Oh,
that.
good.
if
We'll
you
take-
guys would-
that would be great if we didn't have to order them
Yeah.
so much, because of the situation, we run out of all our first aid stuff really quickly. And the gloves and all that comes with it.
Mhm.
I mean, because the gentleman that we were talking about that needed his wound care, he
Yeah,
would
we'll
say,
do that.
I need to do my wounds here, and then I finally had to tell him, no, you can't dress your wounds
Mhm.
in a public shelter. That's probably not the best way to do it, best place to do it. Once you go to the ER and see if they can help you dress your wounds. We're definitely not the place to be dressing and cleaning wounds.
Is there any kind of protocol or policy at the shelter? Let's say someone does take off their wound care stuff and dispose of it into the trash. Is there anything where it's like, okay, we need a double glove, we need a Ziploc bag, that could be.
We try not to assist them. That's up to them, to what they throw it away, where they throw it away out.
In general, it's not considered biohazard unless you can squeeze it out and
Sorry.
something,
Yeah.
something drips out of it.
Okay,
So it's not considered, I mean. Just in general, it's okay to throw it in any
Okay.
trash can. It's not considered biohazard unless you,
We
like
do-
even in the hospital, you could put dressing changes in the regular trash.
it just has to be at least,
You can't, it just can't be dripping.
okay,
We do empty the trash, though, they do put it in there, so I guess to answer your question, it's kind of half and half, halfway between the two.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
mean,
we
it's
take
not a
trash
bad
and take it
idea,
out to the
but-
dumpster.
I was just thinking anything else we had, cause I know in other places we work, we had to put it in like a skillet.
Well, you really need another room that's an ER, staff with an ER to do wound care. If we can come up with that, that would be amazing.
I'm hearing, we're kind of dancing around the outside of this when really
Yeah.
what you're looking for is gloves aren't gonna help you.
No,
Where to put the dressing is not really gonna help you. What you need is people need professional help that they need, and your facility doesn't have it.
yeah,
We also need to figure out a way to get our clients to access it when it is there, because I know Mosaic comes, public health comes, but sometimes it comes when we're closed, so that doesn't really help. It has to be when the people are there,
which is dinner time.
dinner time or breakfast, but that's it.
So can we get at the table to be able to coordinate for you, because I've heard this before, is that those resources need to be there and accessible to your clients and your clients.
Yeah.
That's the challenge, is coordinating all the players.
Yeah.
At the tables, because that's what we did when we were moving everybody out of Willow Creek. We had all kinds of RVs, trailers, tables, folks, and then as that that project moved along, there were fewer and fewer and fewer until it was Nick Sneed, myself, the mayor, standing arm in arm walking through there because everybody just stopped coming.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, who do we need to have at the table to be able to help walk through this with you? Because I agree with you. You don't have the resources to be able to help some of these people. People are shiting their beds every night.
Yeah.
Because they have medical conditions. Folks don't have that.
And it's,
To build that out just means you need to pay professional staff to be able to work through that.
as you can imagine, chief, is like $19 an hour is not gonna
No, it's not.
cover it, right?
Then you
We
got
really
then
don't
you
talk
got
about the
the
brass
insurance
tacks.
liability rider that has to go with it to be able to have the commercial cleaning to clean it. I mean, it's.
No, and then the thing about coordinating resources is our folks, our guests, they need to see someone there consistently. So, everyone has been great at trying to come in, twice a month or once a week or whatever. But it's just hard because they're there when they get out of bed at 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock in the morning or earlier, and they're there to line up at 5:30 for dinner. And if you're not at one of those times, you're gonna be kind of twiddling your thumbs. Because they have stuff that their routine that they do during the day, that they're not gonna get plugged into resources. They're gonna get plugged into the resource they want the most, which is not the best for them. Unfortunately, it's still is available to them somehow, the resources they don't need.
And we're not a 24-hour shelter, and so that's another reason why we
Well, I
can't.
understood that's what the burn center was for. They were gonna have buses that when you guys aren't open, they were gonna move them down there and then they're gonna be able to get them plugged into stuff.
They do go, a lot of them do go there, especially when it's cold, they definitely. went there.
Sure, oh, absolutely.
But they do access it, they do
Okay.
go down there, a lot of them, but to Truth's point, it also depends on what resources they're enjoying that day.
Yeah, and
Sure.
I did meet with Michelle at BestCare this morning, and I wish she could, tell you the exact numbers, but I was asking her about the numbers, and she's seeing plenty of numbers coming in when they're open from 7 AM to 11 PM. And I think she said it's somewhere like 175 a day.
That's great.
But how that number is counted, and I was like, 175 a day, that seems kind of high. And she goes, here's how we count it though. Every time someone comes in, no matter if they come in
The
before.
doorbell rings.
You'd be the same guy coming in 4 times. in one day.
Exactly. So that's
How many entries?
in there, how many entries, so, but that does tell you that they are using the center. Now, transportation, you're right, it's gonna be a whole different issue when they start charging East Transit or whatever starts charging
Yeah.
the fee.
The bus.
That's gonna be a whole nother hard thing to bridge.
They don't take the bus down to the burn center though, from our place, they walk.
Well, it's not fun.
No, it's 5 minutes, 10-minute walk.
But, and I will say, one thing I really like that BestCare does, when it gets to be 5 o'clock, they do remind people, it's 5 o'clock, if you're planning on going out to have dinner
Yeah.
or to spend the night, y'all need to be thinking about heading that way, so they're really good about doing that.
And I think in one of Heather's updates, she did say that, at the burn center, there are some sort of medical provider, I don't know what level of training. But, or if it's, do you remember if it was just like a therapist or?
I mean, they
an
have,
alcohol person?
yeah, it's more, like short interventions for
Oh,
it's
okay.
drug and alcohol, there's, they have lots of like workforce.
Yeah,
and,
workshops and stuff, yeah.
uh, well, they do have some people who can help with like accessing healthcare, not giving healthcare. So like their
Yeah.
peer support specialists, I think, can help them get to appointments, can help them make appointments, can help them. But they're not, I mean, they're peer support specialists. They're not trained for anything medical.
So no nurses.
No. Mm-mm. They do have some therapists, but I don't know that.
The wrong kind of.
Well, when Nick comes back, I'll hit him up and see if he can, if him and I can brainstorm some ideas to the state that we can bring this up and make that, known, so maybe we can find some other outside help on this. I think the high risk team is still a good resource to bring at some of the other people that we're
Agreed,
dealing with,
yeah.
and maybe we can connect them to some other services. Otherwise, it's just continue to find other ideas for solutions. Hopefully I can come up with something from the state.
And we're very, very fortunate. I'll give shout out to our staff that we have really great staff. And to truth point, you know, they're not gonna get rich, nothing there. But they're there because they have the heart for it.
Absolutely. Nobody here from BestCare, which is unfortunate because that would be a good group to have in this conversation. What's that? No one's here. Okay. Anything else on there? Distressed properties and unhoused. Who's gonna give that update?
I did talk to Michelle from BestCare about the shelter partnership.
Uh-huh.
And we're gonna, since during the day when they were coming Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, which was great, because when it was colder, they did have some good talks and got people connected to resources. But now with the weather warming up, no one's in the shelter during the day, even when we're open. So we're gonna hold back on that, them coming in the shelter and start back when it gets colder.
Okay.
That's kind of what I had.
That's probably what's going on with the burn center anyway.
Yeah.
Okay.
She's seeing the same thing, yeah. And their hours are 7 AM to 11 PM. They're gonna carry that
Okay.
through the summer. So,
Chief, maybe you can answer, have the code enforcement people made any comment about, are we seeing more folks camping in?
They haven't. Their last report was showing that, this designated overflow camping area by the shelter is not being used. We're not finding anybody that's under the bridges yet because the water's still flowing pretty good. They're not, finding too many people behind the Dollar Tree or the Dollar General. Because again, it's just still too wet for them to be camping down in there, but they're still making their rounds around. They're usually up on the high ground outside the city limits. Mostly they're working on distressed properties, as you have that one on there. They're making good progress. What they're finding is that, if they go and they find a property and they get the homeowner to voluntarily comply, that their neighbors look around and go like, oh shoot, look. That little weird truck is showing up and people are cleaning up their property, and so that the neighbors start cleaning up too, so. It's having a positive effect. If you drive up here on First and Second Street, you'll notice that some of those distressed properties up there are beginning to look a lot better because they're voluntarily cleaning themselves up, so that's helpful.
Well, does anybody have anything else?
Well, both of you, please let your staff know that I personally, we all do, but I want to say for me personally, appreciate everything that you do. The response times are amazing.
Oh, it's been, yeah, great.
And
That's good.
3 of your people were up there when we left.
Yeah.
So we really appreciate your partnership with us very
Well,
much.
I did tell my crew that I think this is gonna be not an easy, quick overnight type fix, that it's gonna be a long, drawn out problem with some very complex solutions. So,
Really appreciate your support. It's bad when you start recognizing the same officers and the same paramedic. You're like, hey, how's it going?
it's really bad. I used to work in Washington County. It's really bad when you're in a much bigger area
Oh.
and they know you're.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, thank you, everybody, for coming.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
See you next time. We'll close this at 2:37.
Sorry to hear the sensation.